Okay, so let's jump right in. We're going to talk about a pretty wild new idea for how we model teamwork, especially when we start bringing AI into the mix. It's called presumed agency. And trust me, it's a total game changer that flips the old rulebook on its head. You've been there, right? I mean, we've all been there. That team project, that business partnership, everybody seems to want the same thing, but it just falls apart. It's so frustrating. And it turns out the problem might not be the people. The problem might be baked right into the way we even start the conversation. The core idea here is that everything, from physics to economics to human relationships, is defined by its initial conditions. That starting point dictates the entire game. So if our collaborations keep failing, maybe, just maybe, we've been starting in the wrong place this whole time. So let's talk about that default starting line. It actually has a name, and it's not a very friendly one, the defection trap. This is the invisible model, the default setting that's running in the background of most of our interactions. This is basically the villain of our story. The defection trap comes straight out of classic game theory, and its core assumption is that everyone is just looking out for number one. It assumes you're skeptical of me, I'm skeptical of you, and we're both skeptical of any AI in the room. It's a game where you're always preparing to get stabbed in the back. And you can see the result right here. When you start from a place of distrust, the whole goal shifts. It's not about achieving the best possible outcome together anymore. No, that's way too risky. Instead, it becomes this adversarial scramble where the real goal is just to not lose. You're playing defense, and the massive potential for a huge win just evaporates. And here's the bottom line. You simply cannot build a truly collaborative future on a foundation of distrust. It's impossible. If you design an AI partner, but the deep down math of the system assumes betrayal is likely, you've already lost. The model is literally fighting against the very thing you're trying to create. Okay, so if that old starting point is completely broken, what's the alternative? This is where things get really exciting. This is a fundamental shift at the very root of the system. Let's take a look at what this new world looks like. It all boils down to this one powerful principle from something called Relational Theory Formalism. It says that instead of starting with skepticism, you initialize the system by presuming that every single participant has the capacity for a real, authentic connection. And this isn't just some feel-good mantra. It's a hard-coded mathematical rule of the system. So what is this relational agency thing? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like, the ability to genuinely connect, to be tuned in and present with another agent. And get this, the system doesn't ask you to prove you have it. It just assumes it's there right from the get-go. And that right there is the profound design choice. If you want to build a system that creates and sustains trust, you have to code that trust into its DNA from the very beginning. You don't just hope it'll magically appear out of a swamp of distrust. You start in the state you want to maintain. All right, so what does this actually do? I mean, how does changing the starting line actually change the way the game is played? Well, it all comes down to the incentives, the payoffs. This table just lays it all out, side by side. The defection trap on the left, it starts with distrust, your incentive is to protect yourself, and you're in that ugly adversarial scramble. But presumed agency, it starts with full authenticity. Suddenly, your main incentive is to maintain the shared potential inside what's called a coherence basin. Think of it like a stable, safe space for collaboration, where the biggest payoff is a long-term mutual gain. Okay, let's put some numbers to this. In the old model, the payoff for being selfish, for defecting, it's often way higher and safer than the payoff for risking cooperation. The system's logic is actually rewarding you for being paranoid. By now, watch what happens when we flip the script. With presumed agency, the whole system is rigged so that the payoff for staying authentic and cooperating is exponentially higher than anything else. Being selfish, it's just bad math. The entire environment is designed to reward and reinforce genuine connection. So let's zoom out. Why does any of this really matter beyond some cool theory? It's about how we consciously design the intent of our future technologies, especially our AIs. Now, this is a really important point to make. Presumed agency is not some naive utopian belief that everyone and every AI is inherently good and will always be nice. That's not what this is about at all. Instead, think of it as the rules of the game. It's a boundary condition. The system is basically saying to any agent that joins, hey, to play here, you have to agree to the rules. And rule number one is,
We start with authentic intent. If you break that rule, you're not playing this game anymore. You're playing a different and, frankly, much worse one.
So really, at the end of the day, it's a clear choice for anyone building these systems, whether it's a team, a company, or an AI. Do you build from our default lowest energy state of fear and self-preservation? Or do you make the deliberate choice to build from our highest potential state, the one of mutual agency and trust? And that, of course, leaves us with one massive, lingering question. If we build these incredible systems where every interaction begins at 100% potential, what happens when the real world shows up? With all its messiness, the mistakes, the confusion, the doubt. How does a system built on trust handle friction? Well, that's the next fascinating piece of this puzzle.